Shalom, shalom. All praise, honor, glory, and fear to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect bros out there that's striving for salvation during these electrifying and exciting times. To the few sisters that's sincere, that's tuning in, I say shalom to you. And as well, I'd like to give a shalom to all the Israelite foreigners out there that may not resemble the appearance of what an Israelite may appear to look like from the tribes. They may look like the other nations that they're scattered amongst, but their sea line goes back to one of the 12 tribes, and they understand and follow this truth and sincerity. I say shalom to you as well. So I wanted to do a quick video because what's been brewing up in the news these past couple of days was the Waukesha parade tragedy. Some Christmas parade out there in Wisconsin. Pretty sure most have heard about it, whether you dove into it and got a lot of information regarding it or just briefed over it, but you've heard of it. And so I wanted to highlight something real quick because these things that are happening that people think are just crazy events, tragedies, and, just random events and things that occur in the world. That's far from the case. It's not nothing random. These are orchestrated. These are basically attacks on the public by the elites. They have crisis actors and everything. The scriptures tell you that we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We're totally tuned in to what goes on in the world. Most people don't know. They think that this just is something that just happened and it's just something crazy. No, this was something that was planned, plotted out, and carried out. And a lot of things they like to do is some of their cartoons, like The Simpsons, and all the different cartoons that they got out there that they put on mainstream networks. There, a lot of it, they'll portray it in a cartoon, like predicting programming, these sort of things that they put to show you, because the elites are so arrogant and proud. They want to take credit for their art. Is this what it is to them? This is their works. This is their artwork. This is what they do. This is how they present their presence in the world by making things happen. But they want to get the credit for it, but they don't want to come out and just tell you that we did that. So they just, they hide it in plain sight. South Park and all these different cartoons, that people see, they'll put it in there. And so this is from a podcast. I'm gonna play a short clip from a Edomite woman. The name of her podcast is Hacking the Headlines. And so I'm gonna play it, and then I'm gonna go into the scriptures.
Years leading up to that. But okay, so I'm sure you guys have heard this was in Wisconsin. It happened yesterday or the day before. And this car came through and plowed through a crowd of this car right here, red SUV. And this doesn't show that it running people over, but the story is that this car came through the parade and ran a bunch of people over. 5 people have reportedly lost their lives, and another 40 plus people were injured. So yeah, I mean, that's really sad. That's a horrible story. But this is on South Park. Now, this came out on November 18th, so a few days before the actual event took place. And this is the trailer for the new season, the first look at the new season. And this is what you see. I slowed it down a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see it. I am sharing my screen, right? It's been a while. I need to get back on my game here. Let me make sure. Okay, it looks like we're going. Okay, so this is, I'll play it. Oh, there it goes. You may have missed it. I'll play it a couple times. So yeah, you have this like parade of people. I don't know the context of this clip, but there's a lot of people on the street, kind of parade looking, right? And then you see the red car, and it's even a red car. So out of all the colors, it's not a red SUV, but it is a red car plowing into people. You see him plowing into that guy. So is this a case of predictive programming? I mean, it seems that that would be the case. But again, hold on, I'll just slow it down one more time for you guys. And there he goes, plowing into people. So yeah, this was days before the actual event happened. And now, yeah, you could say that this is predictive programming. This is them hiding the truth in plain sight. Revelation of the method, which is a good possibility. I mean, I definitely think that's a thing that happens. I mean, it also could be that these people, the people who create these shows are somehow connected to this weird evil world, and they get this information, through whatever like collective consciousness that either they share with themselves or that we all share, and they can just tap into it, and maybe they don't even know they're tapping into it. I don't know. I know the common explanation is predictive programming, revelation of the method, hiding truth in plain sight, which is definitely a possibility.
All right, so she's speaking on how the writers of these shows could be juiced in to get specific information, or that they could be accidentally stumbling on. Like, let's just keep it real. They are definitely juiced in. All the networks are controlled by all the mainstream media, all the news networks, all the TV shows, all the major networks. They're all ran, controlled, and owned by the elites. So the same people who are running this, that is making these things happen, are running, and they decide what you are privy to, what type of news that you see on TV, what's broadcasted, what type of shows that you watch on TV, what movies come on TV, and they present their handiwork all the time on movies and TV shows all the time, not just cartoons. They throw little shots on the TV shows and things like that, and then also the different types of commercials that are advertised to you. They are in control of all that. And if you look at this screen right here, right, which I didn't actually see and catch this episode, but you can look in the background, you see the mountains with the snow on the top, and then you see the buildings got the snow on the top, you see the snow on the ground. We all know Wisconsin is a state that is known for a lot of snow. It's known for being freezing temperatures, cold, and there's a lot of snow. And this is going into the brunt of the winter. So this is all systematically put in place there to subliminally throw their messages out there. So this is exactly what they do. So let's get into scriptures. First scripture is Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands." Right? Which they have the abilities to carry out these subliminal messages on program shows, on TV shows, to show it to you before it happens. And then they also have the control, the power to make exactly what happens happen. And I'm hearing they're trying to make it out to the guy that was supposed to be a Jake and supposed to be a Hebrew Israelite, or on his page, on his social media, he had you know put out some scriptures and some things that said that that basically trying to link him into Hebrew Israelites, because we're coming into the time where they're going to begin to make a real strong push at demonizing us publicly, on the mainstream media, news outlets, radio networks, radio stations, and newspaper outlets. They're going to start doing that. They're going to start creating things happening and blaming us for it. And then that's when they're gonna plaster us on. You're gonna see brothers. You might see brothers on front newspapers, in the mainstream, news outlets or radio stations, talking about brothers, putting brothers' government names out there, things like that. They're gonna have to do this because this truth is growing to the point where you can't put it out. The fire has gotten so big with this, the word. Matter of fact, let me get a quick scripture while I'm at. Speaking of the fire, we go. This is Jeremiah 5:14. It says, "Wherefore, thus saith the Lord, power of hosts, because you speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them." And so, what is the main thing that's being devoured is all the lies that Esau has throughout, just throughout generations have put out there, to where people push these lies without knowing the truth. Now, these lies are being devoured by the truth. Most High has given us the fire, made the word fire, and it's water. Water is to cleanse, and the cleansing is going to cleanse the brothers who the Most High wakes up to this truth. And the few sisters that's tuning in, they're sincere about, this faith of ours. They're being cleansed with the cleansing of the word, the washing of the word, the washing, which is the word. But the fire of it is burning up all those who are of the other nations, beginning with the so-called white man, Esau, and 2/3 of our people. You're getting torched and devoured. This is Psalms 64, and starting from the top. "Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." Now, the scripture that I went to before that, matter of fact, let me go back to it, just a real quick recap. It says, "Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it." It's talking about all their, these so-called elites. They have what is called their think tanks, their secret meetings, where they blood sacrifice, animals, they blood sacrifice people unto Satan. And then they also have their witches and warlocks that send out spells on the public, on people. And then they have those in that think tank where they sit up and they just devise iniquity. They sit up and they counsel about what can they do, what type of evil wickedness can they do, can they plan and plot out, and who can they get to carry it out, and what crisis actors they're going to put involved to be involved with it. They all juiced in. They all practice this. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hands. I mean, they have all the tools and all the equipment, all the techniques, everything they need to precisely draw up these wicked imaginations that they come up with to make them into fruition, to make them come to pass. And a lot of it is driven by the wickedness that they possess of themselves. But it's the Most High that's sending spirits out there to get on their minds to carry out what they do. They're not just coming up with it themselves. It's the Most High that's giving it to them. He's giving them everything to do these things. Verse 2, Psalms 64:2. It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrections of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words." So they shoot, physically and mentally with words, things that they broadcast on TV. Who they want to demonize, they demonize. Who they want to slander, they slander. They decide and they do it. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Now, the perfect represents the nation of Israel, primarily, specifically the elect, because 2/3 of our people, they're not seeking perfection. They're not seeking after the ways of the Most High. So they're really Esau's really trying to, he's really trying to catch the hopeful elect, because he don't need to catch 2/3. He already have them in the palm of his hand. They don't give him, there's no pushback from 2/3 of our people. The pushback is coming from the Most High servants. Just they encourage themselves in an evil matter. Now that for you to just plow over 50 people, killing 5 and injuring 48 people in a so-called Christmas parade. That's an evil matter. That's iniquity. That's them shooting at the public. They're they push violence in the earth. It says they commune of laying snares privately. They say, "Who shall see them?" And that's the problem. They think that they do all these things in silent, but the Most High has given His servants, as well as other people that are not servants of the Most High, but they may have a podcast, they may have a YouTube channel. They could be an Edomite, they could be another Jake, they could be of another nation that's just pulling out information, pushing it out there. But we're the ones that are going on the street and broadcasting it and linking it to the scriptures so it makes sense, so this is biblical prophecy. A lot of it is their own kinds, other Edomites that are basically, you know, diming them out. It's going to tell you that. It says, verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thoughts of every one of them and the heart is deep, meaning they'll think deep to figure these things out or what they want to do. And really, like I said before, it's the Most High that's giving them the antidote, that's giving them putting them in a position and giving them everything they need, even the plan of how to carry it out. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. And you're wounded mentally right now and spiritually because we're out there pushing the truth, using like the scripture saying in Jeremiah, making this word like fire and these people like wood, burning up your lives and burning up, the iniquities and the wickedness that the so-called white man pushed. He pushed from the left-hand side. He's powered by Satan. We push from the right-hand side, powered by Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Now, when it says they shall make their own tongue, meaning other Edomites are going to fall upon them, meaning expose them, debunk their lies and their secret plans and things like that. They do it as well. And the video I just played from you was from an Edomite woman from her YouTube channel podcast that she puts information up there showing you that this was planned. Days before this was aired on, the cartoon, South Park. So their own tongue, and they have plenty of whistleblowers. They got whistleblowers that blow the whistle about the economic structure and system that's in place for the crashing and devouring of the dollar. America's infrastructure is depleting, and there's people who are reporting on that. What goes on in the political field, what happens with the different political parties, and how the House is divided, and how the count, how you have issues with the president against Congress, and they're whistleblowers all over the place. They're all Edomites, even from other countries. That, like, you have RT News that are Russians, but they're Edomites, but they broadcasting real news, not the fluff and puff that you get from the CNN, the Cartoon News Network. That's what I coined it. Back in verse 9, it says, "And all men shall fear, and shall declare the works of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doings." And the so-called white man ain't going to consider the doings of the Most High, because why? Because he's proud. So the righteous shall be glad in the Lord, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the Most High to give the green light, and we will glory in that. We're waiting for that. This is Proverbs 4:14. It says, "Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the ways of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. And that's what you see. I was explaining earlier, they have these secret councils, you know, that that they come up with their plots and plans, and they sleep. They can't sleep except they've done some mischief. They sleep is taken away from them. I mean, they lose sleep. They up late night in the wee hours, and then when they do go to sleep, they can't sleep well if they didn't come up with the perfect plan that they want to carry out. So they sleep is taken from them because they're so wicked. They have to put forth, their meal is how they really love to eat. Their that really satisfies them is the wickedness that they push out, and they drink the wine of violence. That's what they do, man. This is your elites, your super global super elites, the international bankers. The 13 bloodlines that run the world. That most people have come to know is the Illuminati. And they don't. That's a household name now. It used to be a secret hush hush name. Now it's rappers rap about it. It's in movies. It's in TV shows. It's in, you know, they put it in certain commercials on the Super Bowl. Like, this is what they do. Now, I mentioned earlier that it is the Most High that's doing this. The Most High, this is His will. This is what He wants to be carried out. So He has spirits that He has that will get on these Edomites to come up with these plans and to carry them out. So see, this is Sirach 39 and 28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So this is when these things happen. This is the will of the Most High. So when it's carried out to full perfection, it appeases the Most High, because what He wanted to be done was actually done. There's no accident and no, like I said, these are calculated moves given from above. It says fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. So when you see these things happen, it's the vengeance of the Most High. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents, and of the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. First and foremost, starting with you Israelites out there, you 2/3, those are in a world that have made a league and follow the so-called white man. This is talking about you. Then it extends over to the so-called white man and the other nations. Some of these things haven't even came to pass when it talks about teeth of wild beasts, scorpions, serpents. These things are going to come. They're going to be, people are going to have to deal with these on on a very, very high level. You see different, they're trying to talk about vaccinating animals in the zoo. And you don't know what the reactions these animals going to have. There's besides that, the Most High has newly created creatures that you don't know about. They're in the bottom of these so-called prestigious universities where they gene splice. They go in and they take DNAs from two different animals and they unite them together as one, or they'll mate them, or they'll create them with the two different DNAs. Creating crazy looking animals and beasts. Verse 31. They shall rejoice in His commandments, and they shall be ready upon earth. I mean, they're already here. These spirits are already here, and they're ready to carry out the vengeance of the Most High. It says, when need is, and when their time has come, they shall not transgress His word. Meaning the Most High calls for it, they carry it out. There's no stopping them. There's no, preventing it. There's nothing you could done. When people see these tragedies and these real crazy detrimental situations where people, you know, there was nothing that could be done to stop it. Like you had that apartment building that just collapsed and fell and killed all those people in Florida. I mean, the angels worked on the building and brought that shit down. There was nothing could be done. Yeah, they could be hung up in court on a now I heard that there are millions upon millions of dollars that are going to be awarded to the victims, on the victims' families. There's nothing that could be done. They can talk about how this building had the infrastructure on this building hasn't been tended to in over 50 some odd years. Man, it was nothing. That could have been just newly built. The Most High said bring it down, it was going down. And it goes for everything that happened. People always love to come up with what could have happened, what could have, would have, should have. But what actually happens is the will of the Most High was carried out. Back in verse 32, therefore, from the beginning, I was resolved in thoughts upon these things and have left them in writing. All the works of the Lord are good. So when these things happen, that's a good works of the Lord because it was his will and it was completed. And he will give every needful thing in due season. So that a man cannot say this is worse than that, for in time they shall all be well approved. Whew. So nobody can say that this, whatever happened there was worse than this, and then, Hurricane Katrina was worse than such. There's something else coming that's going to be worse than that. Whatever has happened. Because why? Because it is approved of the Most High. It's well approved by the Most High. It says, and therefore praise ye the Lord with the whole heart and mouth, and bless the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So with that, I'm going to bring this lesson to a close. We know that these things that are happening, the super global elites are behind it, but it's the Most High is the fuel and the power behind it. It is his will that carry these things out. That's why it is very extremely important to fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, because he orchestrates everything. He is the master conductor. He is the one that's standing on a podium as the orchestrator or the conductor, and we play. I'm talking about people. We play the tunes that he says tell us to play, and we, the servants of the Most High, love the sound of his music. We love to play in his band, in his orchestra. So with that, I want to say all praise, honor, glory, and fear to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushai, B'Hashem Harakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.